All right, our next segment is going to move from creativity and art design and glass into our favorite subject, taxation. And I'm thrilled to welcome our next member spotlight from the Chamber, Joey Lovett with Liberty Tax in Marlborough, Massachusetts. And Joey, welcome. Looking very sharp, I might add.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me.
We're thrilled to have you. And with everybody on today's segment about entrepreneurial and vision associated with it, tell us the story about how you came into Marlborough with Liberty Tax.
Yeah, great. So this is a family business. It's a family venture. And 17 years ago, my late father-in-law found the Liberty Tax franchise. He found it to be a suitable model for what he was trying to do post-retirement. Roped in my brother-in-law, my other brother-in-law, and his wife, and they opened their first office 17 years ago in Webster Square, which is still to this day kind of our flagship. Since that day, just slow, steady expansion. And then, unfortunately, he passed several years ago and made a phone call to me and my wife, who were residing in Denver, and put the fish hooks in us and reeled us in and said, I need some help. And so he essentially hired my wife to be his boss. Wow. Because she's just this amazing multitasker, expert at anything administrative, plus she had a close to 20-year career in financial lending. So always been good with numbers. And I think to get her out here, he had to sell me.
Okay.
So with that,
you were in law enforcement.
I was pushing a radiator as a patrol sergeant on a graveyard shift north of Denver in a very, very busy jurisdiction. And this is the early onset of COVID and George Floyd era. And so law enforcement was a pressure cooker. And I certainly didn't want to stick around to see if it was going to explode or cool down. I wasn't necessarily running away from something as much as I was running to something. And so when Billy kind of extended the invite, would you guys like to help us expand? I was all about it. And the beauty of that franchise model is you don't have to make the cookies. They're already made. You just have to follow the recipe. And so that was very attractive too. Having started and failed at a number of businesses prior to this, I didn't necessarily want to try to reinvent the wheel. I just wanted somebody to hand me the parts and say, go assemble this and it'll work. And that's exactly what happened.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So besides the normal challenges of, you mentioned COVID, staffing, today for those types of businesses, what have you found to be the major challenge? Because I know you're growing, quite dramatically.
Growth is absolutely one. But technically, taxes, you could read the tax code all day, every day, and it would take you close to, 3 days, 24/7, all the way around the clock. It's just so technical, in and out, and so many rules. And then in the last 2 years, look at all the changes the government made. They issued for the first time ever stimulus payments, advanced child tax credits. They increased the amount per child. So there was just so many changes that were unprecedented. And here we are, somewhat new to the business ourselves, just me and my wife, not necessarily Liberty Tax, trying to navigate the technical aspects of it. So that was extremely difficult, was just the changes that were being done on a political scale, nationally. But yeah, growth has been really exciting and really scary at the same time, because we are constantly looking for good help, trustworthy people, and the amount of personal data that we have, your name, social, who lives in your house, how much money you make. We can't lower our standards to fill a seat. We have to constantly maintain a high threshold for our hiring practices and make sure everyone's clear on their background checks. And, it's just one of those things that we don't want to sacrifice the quality of our employees, because that's a reflection of our reputation. And quite frankly, that is something I've found also to be a huge challenge, is managing a reputation. And when it comes to taxes, nobody wants to do their taxes. Nobody likes doing taxes. But it is the largest financial transaction Americans make year over year. So it's extremely important to get it right. Yeah.
So it's interesting because you said you've started up some businesses, that didn't work out, and then you went into the franchise model, if you will. So for people out there who have explored, maybe I should become part of a franchise, what suggestions would you have for them if they wanted to explore that path?
Sure. Consult. I mean, somebody's been there, done that already. Okay. Somebody either is the franchisee or is in charge of that area development. And if it's a reputable franchise, there's going to be plenty of information online. There's going to be people that you can ping, talk to. I'm always available through the chamber. I mean, that's part of the reason why we want to do this. Liberty Tax isn't just a tax shop. I mean, we do entity creation. We do business structuring, bookkeeping, all sorts of stuff that are not just components of business, but cornerstones, key elements of success or failure. So,
right. I know you were actively involved out in Colorado with chambers as well. What draws you to that? You just touched on it a little bit. What do you find is a benefit of being part of the regional chamber?
Yeah, great question. It has to really boil down to the community partnership piece. Is we knew that when we came into Marlboro, we wanted to be part of the community. The business piece would follow, but we needed people to A, know that we were here, B, know that we weren't going anywhere, and C, know that we could be trusted. And I think immediately when you get vetted through a chamber, there's a level of reputability that comes with that. That is well worth anything you might pay in membership dues. Not only that, but then you get to tap into this network. And, part of opening a business is hopefully you're generating revenue. So where are you going to find your clients? You need to get your name out there, and you need to get your name out there in the right way. And I found the chamber to kind of be that one-stop shop to help you with all things that are startup.
Right. And hopefully this is going to be a conduit as well to let people know that. One of the things that I found fascinating was that you also employ a Brazilian and Portuguese speaking employee that does taxation.
Yes.
And I think that goes on to serve a very large portion of the community
Very much so.
in the region. So I thought that was outstanding as well. Anything you want to say to kind of make people relax a little bit about taxation?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is we do free estimates all the time, second looks. You can bring us your prior year tax documents and let us take a look, and we'll tell you if there's a way that we could find you some more money, or maybe somebody made a mistake. And because we train on this thing, 8 months a year that we're not doing taxes, we are training to do taxes, doing continuing education and doing training. A lot gets overlooked. Right. And the beauty is now that we have 15 locations, I have just an incredible team of enrolled agents, certified bookkeepers, crypto experts. Crypto's been a huge headache for a lot of people that didn't keep track of their transactions and don't know how to treat it. So there's a lot there, and it doesn't cost you a dime to pick up the phone and give us a call, and chances are we can help.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Well, we're thrilled to have you in Marlboro, and wanted to thank you for being a part of the series and continued success.
Well, Marlboro is an awesome community, and we love it here. So
Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.